I didn't sell out, son. I bought in. Keep that in mind.
Welcome to the Independent Characters, episode 272. This is Carl.
This is Josh.
And this episode, we are going to be talking about Necromunda, the Aranthian Succession, Cinderak Burning. This is going to be a series as we follow the series of books. Probably not one episode after another.
Back, but there are 3 books, so expect 3 episodes of this nature.
I think there's 5 books.
Are there more coming? There's only 3 so far.
We'll find out along with you as we progress. So that's what it's going to be about. I know that the banner I put up earlier said it was the Jardalin.
Oh, you skipped to number 3.
I made a mistake and put the wrong one up. So this episode will be, you'll have a new banner.
You know what? Bonus episode 274, whatever it ends up being. Yeah. Banner's already done.
Banner. I just have to go change the number now and the date. But yeah, hard work's done. Hard work's done. This episode, we are sponsored by Brandon Matich and Liam Williams, 2 of our Patreon subscribers. Thank you so much for your support. And as usual, we're part of the Goonhammer Media Network. You can check out media.goonhammer.com for more shows and information. So, how you been, Josh? We haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, it's been, a month?
Through the holidays.
Yeah, it's been good. It's good downtime. Have lots of good hobby time, which you'll hear in the hobby progress section here.
I will tell you, I've pretty much ended my love affair with Arc Raiders at this point. Like I'm
time to take a break.
I think I'm just done. I think I'm just done with it. Like I might play a little more here or there, but I'm not playing like I used to.
As you'll hear, I've been pretty prolific at hobby, but also it's been nice to have like downtime for the first time since I think March last year to pick up a video game and play some video games also. So it's just been nice to have my life back a bit. So it's been good. Yeah.
And Adon will be back next episode, I would imagine. Just the conflict of timing, and plus we know how much he loves Necromunda. So we figured, hey, let's cover this while Adon's not around. And the other thing I would mention, though, is that I'm getting you and Adon together for our start of the year Patreon episode, where we are going to make our predictions for what Games Workshop is going to do or what's going to happen in gaming. Like we're each going to make several predictions, and then we'll see at the end of the year how accurate our predictions were.
I think that'd be really interesting.
Nobody gets to pick 11th edition is going to launch. Yeah, no kidding.
Oh, really?
You have to be a little more specific than that. Yeah. So anyway, that'll be coming out. Yeah, that'll be coming out very shortly. Elite Choice. You want to just leap into it? Why don't you go first?
Okay, that sounds great. So on the Discord, I picked Acteon, and they did an Exiled Magos and Skitarii Bodyguard Venator King for Necromunda. So part of it, like Necromunda, we're covering Necromunda. It called out to me, but like this is just a really nice Necromunda warband that's all been kit bashed together in really fun and creative ways. I like the color palette. I like the modeling that's been done for just the kit bashing and conversions. There are bits in here that I can't identify, which is awesome. I'm not super familiar with the Mechanicus range, but just a really, really nice combination of like seeing some AdMech stuff. I'm pretty sure there's some Ash Waste Nomads in some of the heads there. Maybe, I could be wrong. It could be from Mechanicus, but
super creative.
Yeah, it's just really, really creative and nicely executed, and was fitting to the theme of what we are talking about here today.
The Mechanicus, like Magos, is, I'm not like a huge Mechanicus guy, but that model I really dig. That is one of my favorite models out there. It's a cool good concept. Super cool.
All the novels that I read that have Mechanicus,
they're super cool.
It's just fascinating. Yeah, and the drives and motivations and personalities and logics and all that. Yeah, so neat.
I chose Roughhouse Shackleford and his example of weathering on this. And it's one of the...
It's a corn dozer, but it's the converted version.
Chiton?
The legged version.
Yeah. But his weathering, I'm on the border of like starting to do weathering. Like I really feel like I need to. This will be the next step.
You know
for
what
me.
a great opportunity to do weathering is?
Knights,
Chaos Knight Army.
Yeah, yeah, I know. So I may do it.
Yeah,
I may
you
just
should.
do it. This is a great example of it. I just thought as soon as I saw
streaking grime and some like sponge texture,
Looks
on there,
fantastic.
Like, fantastic.
looks fantastic.
And like that's the easy part. The easy jumping on point, I would say, is some streaking grime and just some like sponge weathering for like chip damage. You can obviously take that
as far
much further for like highlighting.
And that's always my thing. I'm always like
more depth to it.
I'm always like concerned about like taking it too far or not far. It's flavor to taste, right?
Yep. Exactly.
So yeah. All right. Well, listen, let's just launch right into the workbench.
That sounds great.
I'm going to go first because I have a very short section, and then you have a very long section.
I'll go quick through it though.
I've begun the painting of the panels for my Knights and War Dogs, or my one Chaos Knight and War Dog. So I'm starting that process. Layering in like light grays and up to white, and then going over that with a speed paint as a filter. So I get the exact color I'm looking for. That's super easy. And then Tom and I have begun planning for our February, I think it's 6th or 7th event that we're going to have here, which is a big battle between Necron and Chaos. So I got to get the Knights and War Dogs done before that. So
I'm on a deadline
now. I'm on a deadline. I got to really focus on that. So that stuff will get all done.
Nice.
Yeah. And that's kind of it for me in terms of hobby progress, but it's a little bit. Josh, you have a ton.
Yeah. So that looming game deadline got me motivated. I've had Necrons going since
forever.
5th edition. Oh, I mean, 2nd edition. I started when they first came out in White Dwarf in 2nd edition, but this new iteration of the army came out in 5th edition and started. So I think I've sold off half of it when kind of 5th edition Apocalypse stopped being a thing. But even so, having sold half of the Necron army off, I still have 6,000 points worth of Necrons.
Yeah.
But I had a handful of units that just hadn't been painted because I haven't been playing them that much in years past. Our local guys haven't loved playing against Necrons, so I don't bring them to the table that often. But the big game we have coming up, I thought was just good motivation to get some of those units painted that haven't seen the paint yet or been on table. So with that, I painted 6 of the Ophidian destroyers, which are kind of the wraith-looking destroyers. 6 of the Scorpek destroyers, which are more combat oriented. Scorpek Lorg to go with them. 6 of the Canoptic Anthracites, these are the Forge World ones, were kind of like Melta yellow jackets. I've had these models probably since 5th edition, and they've been like half painted for however many years. I mean, that's like 12 years ago or something like that at this rate. So it's good to finally get them down.
I don't know what these next ones are.
Painted 4 plasmacytes. They're actually little tokens, but they go with the destroyer units, and you use them to unlock devastating wounds within your destroyer units.
Sounds so fun to play against.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
And then I cleaned up and have started assembling the Seraptic Heavy Construct, when this is like the big knight for Necrons. And that's a really, really cool model.
Oh no, I saw you doing the next one.
Oh yeah. I cleaned up the Tesseract Arc. This is another Forge World one. And this is kind of an interesting kit in that it's a resin kit, but it combines the parts of the design from the Ghost Arc and the barges for just how they combine the two kits, and then a bunch of really unique parts just for Forge World. And this basically has like a sun inside of its chamber, and it just unleashes in different weapon attacks. These are all in like Legends now too. That's how long they've been, and I'm like just painting Legends stuff.
Well, it's going to be fun because we're pulling out all that stuff.
Exactly.
Like Legends stuff is welcome.
This is a good time to do it. It was just a good excuse for me to get a bunch of Necron stuff finished up for this big game, and then
Caleb needs to get my Titan back here.
Oh yeah.
He messaged me. He's like, "Oh, I got to bring it down." I'm like, "Yeah,
you got a deadline now.
You got a deadline. Yep. I need it by."
And then continuing, so that's it for Necrons. Continuing the Eldar, just getting a bunch of Eldar stuff ready to just really jump into that army and get a bunch of stuff painted. Assembled 5 more fire dragons, assembled 5 sweeping hawks.
These are the new ones.
These are all the new plastic aspect warriors. Yeah. 5 more warp spiders. I did assemble a lieutenant and a larger 3D printed, resin printed version of Tyberos for the Sharkadons. And
Nice.
that lieutenant is the last model I need for Adepticon for Sharkadon. So it's like I need to paint 1 lieutenant to be ready for Adepticon. So that gives me a bunch of freedom to play with other games and hobbies right now, which is cool. And then while I was doing some assembly and painting, I did listen to Void Exile by Robbie McNaven, which is the 3rd of the Carcharodon novels, which was fantastic. It's a really
liked it.
It's a big jump in the timeline. It's about 80 to 100 years later. And some interesting things have happened. And I'm not going to spoil anything, but it does have Dark Mechanicus in it.
I did not realize it was like a 3-part story arc. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's all connected.
I should go back and check this out. You enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's
okay.
good. It's fun.
And I do like Dark Mechanicum.
Dark Mechanicum is a pretty fun adversary to encounter in there too, and it's a really interesting concept for what happens. I enjoyed it. Obviously, I love the Sharkadons, but just good fun book.
Very nice.
And then finished up a little bit more Trench Crusade stuff for the Court of the Seven. I painted a Praetor and a Desecrated Saint, which are kind of like small demon prints. Size models, so they're large but small compared to a 40k demon prince. Right. And then just a couple more regular dudes for the Prussians that I had there. So it's good concentrated hobby time.
So the other thing not on here is obviously Adepticon registration just happened. Yes. I watched carefully. It was very smooth.
Yeah, it was great.
Like you knew where you were in the line. Like it felt, they were really prepared for it. It felt like the third party that they used to do the registration, C-Vent or whatever it is. I think that went really smooth. I watched the 40K Flex fill up all 4 days.
Very quickly, yeah.
So I think Friday and Saturday sold out first, and then the Thursday one and the Sunday one was the last one to fill up. But
not surprising.
Highly likely some people drop or don't show. Yeah. So, swing by
get on the wait list for sure. If there is a capacity available, and definitely, if you've got free time, show up and
it'll be fun.
If we got table space, we'll get you a game.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun. I think Campbell said he was doing Flex Thursday and Friday or something like that. 2 days. So very cool. Very cool. As far as games played, I have not played any 40K. It's like been a 40K kind of dry, holiday season for me. The people I was supposed to play, like Aaron, we just have conflicting schedules at the moment. So I did play a lot of board games though. Like the audience in the group I had wasn't 40K.
That's the problem I'm having in Santa Cruz right now.
So sometimes I'm just playing a board game or something.
We need to set up a game. It's been
way too long. We're about to play one in February.
Yes.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
We got to take a lot of pictures.
Yeah.
Doing that too. But what we did, we planned a while ago, Ed and Blake and Travis and myself went down to Harris Ranch, which was a place we had gone with Doug at one point and had a big thing. So we had kind of a get together with that and Letty, Ed's wife came and Shell came. And so again, it wasn't like I wanted to bring a couple like 40K board games to at least be like, hey, but it wasn't really the environment for that. So, but we did play Black Rose Wars, which you've played with us and won right out of the starting gate.
That's a fun one.
We figured out a few things, like gotten a little better at it too.
Oh,
so
cool.
I'm ready.
Nice.
Yeah. So we played some Black Rose Wars with those guys. We had 5 players for that one. That went on a long time, but we also played a bunch of like smaller games, like things Travis brought. He brought this game called Rings and Things.
I don't know that one.
I'll tell you about later. It was cute. I mean, it was like $24 game you can pick up, but hard.
Oh yeah.
Hard.
Yeah.
Like it was hard. And I've also been doing just a bunch of sim racing driving. So, and putting those videos out on my YouTube thing. So
keeping you busy.
I spent a lot on that rig to do it. And it's an investment in time to race. I mean, it's funny because I try to explain it to other people and I'm like, it's not just like, I just hop in the video game and I'm like, oh, okay, let's play. It's like, No. You got to
warm up your tires. So you're not playing Cruise in California.
It's beyond even that. Even just to do a race, like first of all, you have to have the appropriate license to race that race.
Right.
So you have to have worked your way up through like various things. And I race the Porsche Cup races. And then when you go to do a race, you like have to register a half hour before the race and you have like practice. And then if you withdraw, you'll lose points and stuff on your I rating. So it's like, you're trying to work your I rating up. And so once you're committed, you're committed.
Yeah,
and then, so if people get like taken out in the first turn, they get a little heated about it because they're like, they've lost a ton of points and they didn't even get to fight about it. So it's been very interesting.
Put time in for qualifying and all
it's a whole other community I'm kind of involved in a bit. So it's kind of interesting.
A new evolution on the, MMO.
Kind of. It's, you know what? Interestingly enough, that's a great comparison because there is like, you are committing time. Like, and it's not like if I'm going to do a race, it's not like, oh, I'm halfway through the race. Oh, I just drop out. Like, it's like, I have to set aside an hour to an hour and a half to do this.
Yeah.
So, I have to pick like my times that I'm going to race. And it's been very entertaining. The community's generally pretty friendly. I raced a guy the other day. Well, I was racing in a race and then it's at Le Mans, which is a huge course. It's like an 8-mile course. And like, as it wound up, it was one guy and myself kind of separated from the front pack and the back pack. We were just kind of in the middle with everybody else. Like it felt like we were just the only two on the track for a while. And, that course, like, you just go back and forth. We were really evenly matched. And it was funny. Like after the race, I was like, I'm going to go friend this guy. Like we'd been talking over the radio. He was from Australia. I'm like, I'm gonna go send him a friend invite. And then I go look and he'd already sent me a friend invite. It's like, all right, cool. You know? So it's like, I mean, it's been like 40K. It's fun. Like I've always been part of a larger community.
Right.
The independent characters has really allowed me to do things like run the 40K flex and get people involved in that. And I've met so many great friends. I am super looking forward to Adepticon.
Yeah, same.
Like that is my Christmas, to be honest with you. And, like AJ sent me a message. He's going to be there. Ian's going to be there. Just all our friends are going to be there. It's going to be a great time. Dana Campbell will be there. Dave, obviously, just tons of friends are going to be there. So it's a great time. If you haven't made it out to Adepticon, highly recommend it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's worth the trek to get to Milwaukee, which is not as easy as getting to the Schaumburg, right?
It's an extra stop.
Yeah, there's usually a layover.
Not a lot of
from the West Coast.
From the West Coast.
From the West Coast, there's a layover. But man, we've already got our flights. We got the hotel. We got the thing. Everything's in place. Now I got to get everybody who's registered into the Longshanks thing so that we can separate people as appropriate.
That'll make it really easy.
So much easier.
It'll be nice.
All right. Anyway, so for me, it's just been a bunch of board games, and then driving. What have you been up to?
Not a lot of games either. I have been playing Star Wars Outlaws, which is an older, not older
video game.
It's not like old, but it's a couple years old.
I don't think it was quite the hit they were expecting.
No, they've done a bunch of post-update releases. I was able to pick it up on sale like March last year or something, and got like a spring sale for it. So it was like half off of whatever the original price it went for. But it's been pretty enjoyable.
Did it get you inspired for Shatterpoint stuff?
Yeah, a bit.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. It's a very different kind of game because you're playing like you're
outlaw.
You're an outlaw, and you're kind of a nobody. Like you start as a nobody and you build up a reputation, and there's different syndicate gangs and things like that you have to like build up
the
levels
huts.
of Huts are part of it. Of course. Yeah. So it's pretty interesting concept, and it's been fun. And there's a lot of kind of some puzzle stuff, some stealth to it, some combat to it. You're not like running around with a lightsaber just slicing everybody up.
Right.
But it's been pretty enjoyable.
There's other games you can do that in.
There are games for that, which I also enjoy.
All right, but games played.
Games played. Haven't played any 40K, but did recently connect with local Golden Demon award-winning painter Craig, who has his sisters a battle and is signed up for the Flex and wants to play some 40K.
And his sisters are
they're gorgeous.
Makes me I look at his and I look at mine, I'm like, oh man, you're all right. He's so good.
He's only been painting for like 6 years now.
And won a
Just
Golden
makes
Demon.
Everybody look terrible.
A Golden Demon, not like the Slayer sword, but I mean, we were all very excited for him.
Yeah, and he's such a nice guy. So he wants
jerk.
He wants to get some reps in.
He's so nice. He's a jerk.
Exactly. It's full circle.
All right, so he wants to get some reps.
He wants to actually play some 40K.
I would like to play Craig.
Again, and nobody is playing 40K in Santa Cruz right now. We're all specialist gamers playing a bunch of
Knuckleheads.
Abstract stuff. But because he got into the flex, he's actually excited to get some practice games in.
I'll come up to Herrick and play him. Too.
Yeah.
So
he and I were talking last night, at least getting some games in, which is fantastic. I'm very much looking forward to that. And I did run other Golden Demon Award winning painter Ivan through a game of Trench Crusade. He had expressed interest and just wanted a little demo, so I ran him through it, and then he
I might get into it now that the plastics are coming out. It's like getting into Necromunda. You know, I mean, you don't have to paint a lot.
I'll be curious to see if they do any kind of big announcements or releases at Adepticon. I know they're rapidly expanding the plastics line now because it has the traction, so it's viable for them at this point.
Good Kickstarter. I mean, it got them.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a fun game. So yeah, I'm excited to play some 40K and just trying to get more games in this year more consistently. I was reaching out with Sky and Craig last night about like, hey, what if we do like a once a month skirmish game night at Herrick? So, shuffle between just all the small games that we have and just getting more games on the table.
What about a once a month 40K night? I'll come up for it.
Yeah. They just don't have the 40K interest. Is the problem.
God, you're killing me. You're killing me. All right.
I would love to play
listen,
more 40K.
I'm hoping, first off, the coverage that we're going to do today spawns us to do maybe a Necromunda weekend.
Yes. Yeah.
But also the February thing coming up is probably going to kickstart some more people's.
I mean, definitely jumpstarted my Necron hobby.
And then today, as we're recording this morning, was the year beginning sneak preview thing they just did. I don't know if you saw any of that.
I think driving for the last half of it. Yeah. I did see the first half with the red
Corsairs,
and the Corsair and the Eldar Corsairs.
Yeah,
which pretty sweet,
pretty freaking sweet. But then later they went into like Age of Sigmar, and they're doing the Disciples of Each stuff.
I did see.
They have some models in there that look really good. And listen, I'm not doing Age of Sigmar. In fact, I'm thinking of selling off my Chaos Age of Sigmar army. Adon may be interested in picking that up. We're kind of talking. It was painted by Colin. It has Archaon and stuff. It's great model. Army. I mean, it's great. It's good looking. I'm just not.
We're just
playing
not playing the OS.
But I have enough demon stuff that I can do Disciples as each.
Yeah, totally
easily.
Yeah,
and maybe to add a few Zangors and add one or two of these models just for some flexibility, and then it's there if I want it. Yeah. I have played it as Disciples as each before, but they have these broken pieces of a silver tower that I
did see those.
And I'm like,
those are cool.
Definitely buying those.
Yeah.
Like several of those so that I can set them up on Battlefield.
I mean, with your Thousand Suns, with
demons,
Disciples of Ancient Demons,
everything.
Just cool terrain.
I really did that. So I'm definitely picking up some of that stuff.
Nice.
They showed some Blood Bowl stuff. I wasn't super, I don't play Blood Bowl. So
just Blitz Bowl.
Yeah. And then what was the other thing that they got to? I don't remember. Anyway. It was. I think it was a cool release. The Corsair stuff looks really good.
Yeah,
on both sides of the fence. There.
I was optimistic. I was cautiously optimistic that. I had a feeling they were going to release the Eldar Corsairs because they hinted to more pirates beyond just the Red Corsairs.
Yeah.
So I was very excited to see that actually happened. But with the Red Corsairs models release and kind of announcements there, I was really hopeful they were going to redo a 40K
Huron.
No, just a updated version of Bad Ab War.
Yeah, well, listen, what I will tell you
is Carcharodons in it.
They exceeded my expectations on that Corsair thing. Yeah. And just added new characters and some of the characters are really cool ideas.
Even one of the books that it comes with is just this is just the lore. It's just planets that are inside of the Maelstrom, and that sounds cool. Yeah.
I'm in. I don't want to paint up a Red Corsairs army. But
I'm glad they exist. I'm safe from them, but I'm glad they exist.
Yeah. I got to tell you, I was like, oh, well, maybe, but I'm the Black Legion's plenty for me. All right. Anything else we want to discuss before we kind of jump into Necromunda, Cinderak Burning?
I think that covers the bases pretty well.
All right, so we'll be right back to leap into Necromunda. All right, we're back, and we are talking about the Necromunda book, the Aranthian Succession, Cinderak Burning. And I think one of the important things about the book is that it's moving the timeline forward for
Necromunda quite a bit, yeah.
Because they haven't really addressed like the whole rift being ripped open and everything. Necromunda kind of sat in a state of eternal time stop, you know?
Yeah.
Like the clock had been stopped.
Right.
But traditionally, so we'll talk a little bit about the lore of the book, which covers probably a third of the book.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about some of the new characters, the new campaign system that's in there, which has some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
Especially with the, what is it that you use the cards to get like the
sympathizers.
Sympathizers. I want to say followers. And then we'll kind of wrap it up. And again, this is the first part of at least 3 books.
Yeah.
I thought it was 4 or 5, but we'll clear that up by the end of that.
I have the first 3, so I know it's at least 3.
Maybe they're going to release 2 more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Possible.
So anyway, so let's just set the stage initially, which is where Necromunda sits prior to this series.
Okay. Yeah.
Necromunda is the world.
Yeah.
There is most of the stuff that takes place in the game that you're playing, I think, is typically considered to be Hive Primus.
Hive Primus is the main hive there.
Hive, which is ruled by, and the planet is ruled by Lord Helmar.
Yes.
Helmar. It's a weird spell. MAWR doesn't. So I think it's supposed to be Lord Helmar. Anyway, and this is like he's been a long line of succession of Lord
thousands
Helmar
of years.
Yeah. He's the planetary governor. And
his great whatever grandpa basically established the Imperial house on Necromunda. So they have been in charge of Necromunda
forever.
Since for
as long as we can remember.
Yeah, since it was reclaimed from
and so that is a fundamental key point of what's about to occur.
Yes.
But additionally, so there are other large hive cities on the planet. The planet is its primary purpose is to provide supplies for the Imperium.
Yeah.
And so it has industry that provides all kinds of different
tons of weapons for planetary defense forces, Imperial Guard.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff. Yeah. And all of this is hives are, let's talk about the hive cities a little bit, because hive cities, these huge spires that reach up into the atmosphere effectively that are all powered by geothermal.
Yes.
They tap into the core of the planet.
Giant generators. Yeah. Right. Running off magma.
And so that's kind of, setting the stage. And then they've introduced, a couple of years ago, the ash waste portion where Necromunda now doesn't just take place. The game itself doesn't take place necessarily in the hives, but they explore out into the ash waste where you have various settlements, of which Cinderak is one of them.
Cinderak City is the largest city in the wastes, and
in various cities,
and important to the trade routes.
Yes, that is a good point.
Yeah, it's kind of one of the main hubs of all of the different hive cities on Necromunda. Mm-hmm. So getting goods from different hive cities to planetary export, which is there's a big space needle type thing that it's a giant elevator that goes up to space.
Elevator.
Yeah,
that's literally what it's called.
Yeah, exactly. So the trade routes are really crucial to the story in this, which is interesting.
Yeah.
How controlling the flow of trade,
because there's a guild and there's a guild there's a guild that manages the trade and nobody messes with them. None of the gangs mess with them.
Yeah.
It's if you screw with them, everybody else comes at you because everybody's so dependent upon these trade routes and the ability to utilize these individuals. This has come up in some of the Necromunda novels as well.
Yeah.
By the way.
Yeah.
If one of them gets murdered, it becomes a big deal. But also in the Ash Waste, you have like various monsters, and you have the Ash Waste nomads, and other threats to your safety. It's very Mad Maxy.
Absolutely.
Out in the Ash Waste.
Ash Waste especially. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. So setting kind of the basic stage of that's Necromunda. That's how it's, it's a skirmish level game. And these, there are, not only is Lord Helmar, I always want to say Helmar, but
I do too.
It's Helmar. Yeah. Not only is like, they're kind of the chief, House Helmar is the chief kind of noble house, but there are other noble houses here as well that control various things, whether it's, one is in charge of, making sure that the money is flowing and this kind of thing. One might be in charge of transportation. One might be in charge of different industries.
Yeah.
And they all kind of, there's all these political games that go on where they're trying to, curry favor and become more powerful, et cetera, et cetera.
And interesting to note of those noble houses too, is a lot of the gangs of Necromunda. So where you have the main gangs, like they will report up into the noble houses. They're not going up into Lord Helmar's house per se.
Yeah. Knocking on, they don't even knock on the back door.
Yeah. So there are upper members of the clans that have been appointed by the noble houses that then like rule the underhives down. Because we're talking about this giant city goes up to the atmosphere from like way below the surface to the atmosphere. So the just physical separation of the upper class and the pinnacle of the spire to the underhives, they're literally worlds apart.
And in the middle, you sit, like your regular hive workers and people just trying to go about their lives.
Just trying to exist.
Working under taskmasters for various factories or whatever. But then, as you mentioned, you have the gangs, which, do have some affiliation.
They're like patrons.
They're almost, but they're kind of used. Like,
oh, absolutely.
They are not
exploited.
Even kinda. They're exploited by the noble houses. Hey, if you do this, we'll, make sure you get
some minor favor that doesn't mean anything to them. But
right. So, okay.
They're just dangling carrots.
Having set the stage, then what occurs is, obviously we know it as, the Cicatrix Maledictum occurs. The Great Tear in space occurs. And, across the galaxy, Psykers' heads explode and eyeballs melt and blah, blah, blah. And the same kind of thing happens here in Necromunda. But also, more crucially, what happens in Necromunda is all of the hive cities,
the core of the planet,
all of the power systems,
the core of the planet goes cold.
Yeah.
Meaning all the thermo-generated power for all the spires, all the hive cities stops.
Yeah.
Which causes across the planet.
Planet-wide power outage, planet-wide blackout. I think they even refer to it as the Great Blackout or something like that at one point. And so during this time, of course, there are always people waiting to like seize power, take advantage of whatever. And so, there was a big blackout in New York City, like many, many years ago. And then like, of course, crime like spiked. Like this is on steroids. Cranked up
planetary
on crack
level on a place that's already kind of
already a
tinderbox just waiting for that match.
Yeah. So this occurs, and of course, all these different machinations start happening at the gang level, at the noble level. Yeah. Various noble houses are trying. First off, they're trying to urge Helmar to, how are we going to deal with this? And this blackout goes on for a while, like not just few hours, like this is days and days. I think even longer than that, like months.
Yeah.
But at the initial phases
it escalates very quickly.
Yeah. At the initial phases of it, they're trying to figure out what to do, what the damage is, what's the they don't know what's going on with the rest of the galaxy as well.
They can't even communicate within the spire. So the nobles up top don't know how bad, like they don't know that there's a mutant uprising happening in the lower levels.
Not just a mutant uprising, but chaos uprisings as well.
Corpse grinder cults are coming out, mutant uprisings, like rogue psychers, you name it.
Chaos cults all over the place. Everything just erupts. Yeah. And so the gangs are down there fighting off like chaos cultists.
They're fighting for survival.
Stuff. Yeah. Just like thousands of them. And out on the Ash Waste, this happens too. Like chaos cults that have been just laying low suddenly like burst out, and start like attacking. And it's interesting because initially, like, you have a lot of the gangs like working together.
Right. Yes.
And it's such so the gangs kind of work together to fight against like these hordes of chaos cultists, and different hives handle it in different ways. Like in one, they like release like all this molten metal into this area on allies and
everybody.
They just drown everybody in molten metal.
Encase everybody in metal. And like, if you got out, great. If you didn't, you should have got out. Done. Yeah, you should have got out.
But all of them handle it in different ways. But essentially, as I'm reading through this story, I'm like, oh, they're all kind of like banding together to, we have a messed up way of life, but we're here to protect that messed up way of life. And they do. Like they band together, they kind of stop the chaos revolt. And I'll get back to the nobles in a minute.
Right.
They kind of stop the chaos revolt, but then immediately fall right back into their old turning on each other kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. The biggest event that happens though is up in the noble spires. And I like the way they reveal this in the book, which they reveal it through the perspective of the assassin.
Yes.
Which is like this cybernetic, it was a woman that was transformed into the cybernetic assassin and mind wiped and blah, blah, blah. And basically it comes in, storms into the war room where Helmar and other nobles are and bodyguards and everything. And assassinates Helmar.
Kind of.
Yeah. So it gets in real close to him real fast.
Yeah.
Like guards are like taken by surprise. He jumps in.
Yeah.
She jumps in, stabs him with like a poisoned blade multiple times. Like it actually knows it's on a one-way mission, like a suicide mission. No,
survival is not an option.
Nope. And so critically wounds Helmar. And then is destroyed.
Yeah.
But the bodyguards are able to get Helmar to the Chirurgans. I don't know how that word's pronounced.
I always in my head I say Chirurgan.
I've just read it, so I've never heard it out loud. But they get, and they're able to just put him in a stasis field.
Yeah.
They're like, he's been afflicted by this poison.
They put him in full stasis until they can understand the poison.
He's gonna die. The second they pull him out, we have to put him in the stasis field. So, okay, we go the Primarch route and we stick him in a stasis field. I feel like those are, okay. So
I think the reason they do this,
multiple reasons.
There's multiple reasons, which is smart.
The first is, he's not dead.
He's not dead.
Everybody don't worry.
Right.
Helmar is still not dead. And he has 30 people that are of his legitimate heirs, plus a bunch of illegitimate heirs.
There's some parts in the book that they estimate that he probably has 130 offspring out there.
Yeah.
And part of that,
I would too.
And there's actually the reasoning for it.
You know what he should have worn was the independent character's condom.
No, because they specifically, one of the reasons is a lot of these nobles have as many kids as possible so that all of the other children have to compete with the kids.
Right.
For line of succession, so they don't actually come after him to.
And of course, this gets super brutal. Yeah, right. Like murders and plotting and
siblings killing siblings, and it's not a good time.
So they stick Helmar in this thing, but some of it is to say he's still alive.
Yeah,
the assassin didn't get him.
Right,
he's still alive. Everything's under control. Don't worry. House Helmar is still running Necromunda. Yeah.
The problem is he had no plans on being assassinated.
Right.
And he, goes through rejuvenate treatment so he can, live for
these guys live
years,
forever.
Right? So,
not really forever, but a long time.
Effectively, close enough.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any line of succession planned out.
Right. And there are 30 legitimate heirs, starting with the oldest down, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And they immediately begin plotting against each other.
Yeah.
Some are killed, some are trying to build factions. One's I'm the oldest, so I'm in charge. And one's I understand the people, people are whatever, might makes right.
And they're all finding support.
They're dueling with each other. One, they're all I call you out in a duel.
Yeah.
And so
both kill each other.
Yeah. I mean, it's just,
And I think this is a really interesting time.
And it's probably not just Helmar's house that's doing this. I'm sure the other houses are also.
Which that's exactly what I was going to bring up, is that the charter of Necromunda is that basically whichever noble house has the most strength, resources, etc., which has been the House of Helmar since its existence. Yeah. It's not just a direct line saying Helmar is always in charge.
Right.
So all the other noble houses see this void. There's a vacuum, and they want to take over. They want to take over the planet.
So going back to the gangs and how the gangs are sponsored, they start also utilizing the gangs. Absolutely, hey, I want you to do X, or stop the flow of this commerce that's going on for this house so that I can now. So all this starts and it goes like quickly out of control.
Yeah, it escalates quickly.
The interesting thing about this book is really the main focus of this book, though, is the battles between Escher and Goliath.
Yes.
I mean, there are other factions involved in there, but I thought it was interesting because it's kind of a throwback to the Necromunda starter set in a way.
Right.
That they're like, okay, here's Escher and Goliath, who have historically hated each other.
Right. Yeah. And they're so dependent on each other, and they absolutely hate each other at the same time, which is a fascinating and beautiful storytelling.
I do. Okay, so we've got to that point. I do want to say, I don't know that I like how the narrative is written. I like what it tells.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
It's almost like what they used to try to do with the Imperial armor books. Like they used to try to give you like, oh, now we're looking at this person's perspective and this person's perspective and this person's perspective. It didn't flow well for me though as a read. Like I would have to read a couple paragraphs and then stop and go, okay, what just happened?
Who are we talking about?
Yeah, who are we talking about and what happened? Yeah. Okay. So it wasn't like you can't really like read quickly through it. I didn't find. Maybe you felt differently.
Compared to a lot of just it's like 40 pages of lore. So it's a pretty thick story. Some of that is timeline updates and stuff like that. But for me, I actually found it a little bit more engaging and easier to read because it was jumping perspective to perspective and advancing kind of the timeline within a couple. It takes place over like 2 or 3 months.
Right.
Is basically
longer than that.
The total time.
I think it takes place over years.
If
you look, because there's like a timeline breakdown.
Yeah.
And I thought that was years.
It actually has the Necromunda calendar in there, and it has a whole section that explains how the calendar works, which I would have to double check on. I think it's
those could be days. Maybe those are days.
So it's days and then shifts. So it's
right, because it talks about how time
then
works
days and then shifts.
Oh, okay. So
three shifts in a day.
All right. So this is months. Then.
Yeah. So I think it's a couple months, but
okay.
There's the time of darkness, which is just the hives, the planet's out of power.
Right.
And then there's the time of succession, or rebellion, age of rebellion.
Yeah. Okay. So back to reading.
I appreciated how it did jump from perspective to perspective of these different characters, and it was progressing across the timeline while doing so.
Yeah.
Like I thought I enjoyed that as a literary way of progressing perspectives.
It felt like reading a history book.
Yeah.
To me.
Bit, yeah.
But then to add on to that, then it kind of cuts that occasionally with what you would consider like a book read, like a story.
Yes.
Told from a character's perspective.
Yeah.
And then I always felt like when I got to those points, I was like, oh, good.
It's a little break.
It was a little break. I would read that and I go, oh, I see how it's set up.
Yeah.
Like what has just been going on. And now this is leading into the next stage. So actually I appreciate that is done well. And maybe using the term I didn't like how it was written is not the right thing. It is, you are reading a history book.
Yeah. Right.
So it's not necessarily like super entertainment. It's a
remembrancer's telling of.
It kind of, yeah. I think
then
that's
some first person accounts of.
Yeah.
Which are a little bit more engaging for sure. Yeah.
Okay. So things are breaking down everywhere. House Escher and House Goliath find themselves brought into conflict in more ways than one. And a lot of this is, so it's driven not only by various noble houses trying to manipulate things. But then you get this new individual who shows up.
Yeah.
And she's kind of a mysterious figure at first. And she shows up at House Escher's, like the head of House Escher.
Room.
Yeah, the throne room, where you have, I'm trying to remember her name, but she has like the head of the house has a bodyguard, confidant.
Yeah.
It's more than like her champion. They're like very intrinsically tied together.
Yeah.
Lydia. And
there's Adina and
Adina, that was it.
She's the leader, and then it's another A.
Yeah. That was the other problem I had, was both names start with an A.
Yeah, they're very similar.
But
I'll find it here.
yeah, as you look for that, she shows up to this. She gets introduced by the champion to the leader, who's like, "Why have you, who says you decide who I meet with?" Athera. Who says you decide who I meet with? And she says, "Oh, well, I think you'd want to meet with this person." And she shows up, and she basically walks over to the throne where there's like these knives that stick out of the throne. And Athera has complained like internally to herself that this throne has never been comfortable. Like it's
Athera's the champion. Sorry.
Or excuse me, Adina's the leader. Adina's saying this has never been comfortable. I hate this chair. Yeah. I have to sit here and listen to the heads of the various,
all the crones.
Yeah, the crones complain to each other. And I'm sitting here, she's thinking, I'm like, so why didn't you just get like a pillow or something and put the pillow on? But anyway.
There's a pillow shortage in Necromunda.
Well, you'd look not tough too.
Exactly.
She comes over, she like pricks her finger on one of the knives that stick out of the top of the chair. And that unlocks like a gene code, and then like one of the arms opens up, and basically there's this agreement.
Yeah, it's a scroll, a sealed scroll.
It requires both of their
genetically sealed.
Yeah. When this occurs, she reveals, and what is her name again? She's the leader of like the rebellion.
Lady Credo.
Lady Credo reveals that like, hey, look, we have these long-standing agreements between your family and my family that you are expected to honor, and I will honor. Yeah. And so she's like, okay.
And to give a little background on Lady Credo.
Yeah, so now let's talk about her background. Yeah. Go for it.
So she is part of a noble house.
And it was kind of a noble house on the decline.
Yes, a declined noble house that was actually just like shoved out by some of the other noble houses.
It was pretty much, they had like 2 cents to their name.
Yeah, it's her dad was the last lord of the house, as it had any
House
kind
Credo.
of as House Credo. Yeah, he was Lord Credo, but I think they said he had like 2 credits to his name, and they were living somewhere like way down the spire, not in the upper echelons of spirehood.
Not anymore. They had at one point.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they were in decline, and some of these other noble houses were definitely pushing, like helping to give them the boot out of power.
Yeah.
So
he had spent, and she and she was it her or her like, or before her, had spent all this time kind of building these alliances for hundreds of years.
Her mom and then her as well.
They'd spent all this time like building all these alliances and making these concessions and making promises and
just packs,
gaining
all
favor
these packs being
for years.
The future.
Yeah. And now she's kind of come back and is like, I'm cashing them all in. That's a good way of putting it. And she starts with House Escher.
Yeah.
And so getting Escher basically on her side, her objective is to effectively overthrow Helmar and take control of the Hive.
Yep.
So leading a rebellion against the Hive from within as well. Yeah. And and so we'll see how that all plays out, but not necessarily in this book. This book really lends to the start of that. And so the other thing that occurs over on the Goliath side is you have a noble who's trying to curry favor with the Goliath.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, you also have like a power struggle between 2 individuals that were kind of the heads of the Goliath household. And
2 Goliaths that had previously had a duel.
Right. And
the existing leader had been ousted by a new upstart.
Right.
Which Gorshiv.
That's right. Their names are ridiculous.
Yeah. And I kept wanting to call the other guy Django.
Yeah, it's Jangar, Djangar.
D silent.
So Jangar and Gorshiv.
Jangar had previously been the Goliath, with like over tyrant is what they call it. Yeah. So
Right. And he had been ousted. By Gorshank.
Gorshiv is his,
Gorshiv?
No, it's another guy. Sorry. Gorshiv
there's too many names.
Gorshiv is one of his champions.
So anyway, he had been ousted. This other guy's running the Goliath at this point. Right as they're having these negotiations with this noble, and their plan is to basically go and attack Cinderak and take it over. Django Unchained shows back up, and he's like, "Hey, I'm challenging you to this fight."
And this happens while there is a council meeting of the existing Goliath over tyrant,
Right.
and the heir of House Helmwar. And this guy,
One of the heirs of House Helmwar.
who, as we learned later on, had the most legitimate claim to be the actual heir.
Yeah. So he, having come from the Spire, he's so full of himself, he basically walks up to Django Unchained and is like, which is funny because it's House of Chains.
Yeah, exactly.
He
That's
basically
rating a chain.
he walks up to him and he's like, "You need to leave."
Yeah.
And Jangar just pulls
shot
out
in
a
the
gun,
face.
shoots him, doesn't ever break eye contact with the guy he's challenged.
Just
Shoots him in the face.
murders the most legitimate heir to the House of Helmwar without even looking at him.
And then of course the bodyguards like go to like attack, and all the other Goliath kill the bodyguards because they're like, "Oh no, you're not going to interrupt this this trial by combat that has just now started.
This is our culture now."
That's right.
Yeah.
And so that fight starts. And one of the things I liked about the fight was they were like, well, Django Unchained there had been defeated before, but he had spent all these years like wandering the wastes and thinking about the fight and getting tougher.
Cue the 1980s movie montage.
That's
him
right.
Training to overcome.
He
this.
was in a shack where there was like a sandstorm around it, and he's like beating on the carcasses of these like giant insects, you know, getting tough. I'm making all that part up, but like
just like Rocky,
he has spent time analyzing the fight, which is first off, you know, for a Goliath to analyze
that's
anything.
pretty advanced for Goliath.
Yeah.
But he's an former over tyrant.
Yeah, so he's not a wimp by anything, but he comes back tougher, and basically he ends up killing
and knows the fighting style and weapons used by
which is a giant chainsword.
Giant chainsword.
And he gets within it and starts like fighting him hand to hand, and ends up choking him to death. And killing him. And
like he gets his face head butted, so his nose is just like
broken and
destroyed.
Shattered.
It's a pulp,
but he ends up,
but he wins,
choking the guy to death. And then, all the other Goliaths are like, "Okay, well, you're in charge.
You're the boss now.
What do you want us to do?" And he's like, "We're going to go attack Cinderak." And they're like, "Well, that was the plan all along." so like the plan hasn't actually changed. But the funny thing was, it was Lady Credo who had set him against. He'd set Django against the new over tyrant in an effort to not have them attack and disrupt Cinderak. But he's like, "I'm Goliath. I do whatever I want.
That's what we doing.
We're doing it anyway."
We got a plan.
So she's like, "Okay, well, this hasn't gone to plan." Which leads to the conflict in Cinderak, which also, by the way, has dealt with chaos cultists and dealt with
the nomads have been attacking it relentlessly.
Right. Yeah. But they've kind of defeated them, and then all of a sudden here comes Goliath. And they're like, "Oh God."
The biggest like coalition of Goliath gangs ever assembled.
Yeah. And then Escher goes in to basically defend Cinderak from Goliath. And so a lot of the fighting and stuff is taking place there. And that leads into the campaign and the way the campaign works. And it kind of sets the stage for like, I legitimately don't know what's going to happen with House Helmwar. The other, and it leaves you with the 13th in line female.
Yeah. Helmwar's 13th daughter.
Yeah. And she
has a little dinner party.
She's having a dinner party where she is, it kind of, the story picks up at the end of the dinner party where she is
in the
already,
wake of the heir apparent being murdered by the Goliath,
Right.
the most legitimate heir, I should say,
Right.
being murdered by the Goliath. She has a little dinner party with all of her siblings,
who she has just murdered.
who she absolutely just butchers.
Except there's still some out there because it says, oh, well, the smart ones didn't come to the
Right,
party.
yes.
But it was interesting because I was like, first off, the art of her, she's beautiful.
Yeah.
Right. And she's clearly a noble, but like, it's like, okay. And so I'm like, oh, well, who's this fox? You know? And then
art,
like
art
you,
is fantastic.
You start reading about this dinner party, and basically it's told from kind of her perspective, but like a messenger has come and she's like, why are you bothering me? Like, what? Oh, my lady, I thought you wanted to get this message. And he basically tells, the message includes, the symbol of House Creta on it.
Yeah. It's basically all of the noble houses, the major noble houses aligning together to try and overthrow
Helmar,
including
this new one,
this new star symbol, which is the symbol of Creta.
Yeah. It's like a 7-pointed star,
7-pointed star,
not 8-pointed,
which is, exactly.
It's almost chaos.
Almost chaos. It's chaotic, but it's not chaos.
But it's really interesting because like she sees this message, she's like, okay, I got to go do that. She starts walking out of the room, and then she like turns around and looks,
leans over to a guard,
and she's like, oh, and kill him. And then there's just like a gunshot as she walks out of the room. Like she's vile.
Yeah,
like she's absolutely evil. Yeah. Great, like a great way to finish kind of the story and set the stage for okay, here's what's going on. Okay, yeah, I mean.
So other gangs are present, but I'll just do a quick kind of overview of what's going on with them.
Please.
And that they're largely,
in particular, enforcers are talked about a lot.
Enforcers are basically the gang of House Halmar, so they are very readily involved throughout the story. Some of the defenses, some of them pulling back, some it was enforcers that failed their job when the assassination attempt was successful.
What's your gang that you play? The
Delok and Enforcers.
I mean, they talk about these, but it'll be like, oh, and the Delok guys
somebody took out a Delok post so that Helmar wouldn't have his eyes and ears because the Delok do a lot of spying for the noble house. That's kind of their arrangement. So there's mentions of all the other Orlocks are trying to secure the trade routes because that's really their thing is they do all the kind of the supply running in the Ashway, so that like they're trying to keep the roads open and the main gate. Most of the fighting is obviously the Escher and Goliath here, but
and it should be mentioned too, Escher's like plan to defeat Goliath was, we're gonna
withhold the stems from them.
We're gonna disrupt the drug trade thing that allows them to get their stems
because they're vat grown, or vat transformed.
And she figures if we can just do that, then they become worthless.
From our House of Goliath or House of Chains episode.
That's right.
But one interesting thing we didn't touch on. There's obviously a lot that happens in the story here. Is that there's actually a pretty drastic divide within House Escher.
Yeah.
And
we didn't even talk about that.
The kind of the chem branch,
something.
It's all the kind of not poison, but the chemists of House Escher see themselves, if Lady Creto's plan comes to fruition, they're going to be obsoleted. They're not going to have
to a degree.
They're not really going to be needed, and they are the ones who are supplying all the drugs for the Goliath, so that they can do that. And the existing plan right now has been to withhold that. So a splinter of Escher fractures out, and they actually resupply the Goliath with the drugs. And
they try to kill the head of Escher at one point. Like she throws a knife at her that's like coated with this toxin. Yeah. But one of the bodyguards like jumps in the way.
Jumps in front of it.
And then it melts her and she explodes. And they're all covered in gore and they're like,
that's some
okay, fights break out.
That's good stuff, but yeah.
And nobody could bring guns into that chamber. So all of a sudden, like all these knife fights and sword fights break out. And this is one of the things that frustrates me about 40K lore sometimes is the like leader of the Kim house of it gets into combat with the head of or with the bodyguard, Ada. I can't keep these names straight.
Athera, I think.
Athera gets in combat, and Athera like knocks her back, and then like her people are able to grab her and pull her out of the room before Athera can kill her. It's like, how many times do we have to like, and then a rift opens up between the two of them and they can't, it seems to happen a lot in the 40K universe.
As the ground quakes open, it splits them into two separate
and they can't fight
continents. And we
saw that in in many things, but we also saw it in the aforementioned Bad App Wars at one point.
Yep.
And it's in some ways you have two very, not in this particular case, but you have two very famous or infamous characters meet.
Dramatis personae.
Yeah, you don't necessarily want to kill one off. Like
Not yet.
Anyway, so yes, you didn't mention that, and that's a really good, or I didn't mention that, and that's a really good point. There is some division within House Escher as well.
And the last thing would be kind of the main fight. There's Cinderak Burning, so there's the assault on Cinderak, and then there's also Ashgate 17, which is the main gate from Hive Primus that leads out into the Ash Waste. So these 2 points, Cinderak City being like the hub in the Ash Waste, and then Gate 17 being the closest gate to Cinderak City for the trade routes. Again, everything comes down to the trade routes.
Yeah. It should also be mentioned that
this is all happening while they're trying to maintain the Imperial tithe. Yeah. Because if they don't, then the Imperium comes down and starts cracking.
But also, some Hive cities are just fall to abandonment or just,
destroyed
everybody's killed. Yeah.
Everybody's killed.
Abandoned. So you do lose. And so they're trying to keep up with the tithe. Or their expected amount of what they have to deliver to the Imperium, while
the whole time the planet was out of power, obviously nothing was being manufactured. So the quota already is going to take.
So they're already behind. Yeah. But now they've also got they can't produce as much as they could before because this has happened. So things are not going well.
Which is now reminding me that part of the reason that the time of darkness ends is that
we didn't even mention that.
Yeah.
So at some point the power
comes back on. Yeah. Things aren't great. There's still just chaos and upheaval everywhere. One of the ways they are able to maintain or regain control to some degree is that the Imperium threatens to show up.
That's right.
So they a fleet is en route and they're like, okay, we need to get our act together or we're all just going to die.
Yeah. Before anybody's even
So
landed.
just the threat of the Imperium shows up, helps things kind of line up again for a little bit, but then all the plots and subplots come into play.
Where we stand is Lady Credo's rebellion has consolidated its power across Necromunda. From the forges of Hive Rothgal to the peaks of the Quinn Spire, the symbol of the 7-pointed star can be seen scrawled on walls and doors. Only Hive Primus and the Palanite cluster resist the influence of the rebels. Lord Helmoir's enforcers brutally suppressing any hint of Credo's following. And then we have Lady Hera, who's the last daughter of Helmoir.
Yeah. And important to note, the Goliath siege on Gate 17 and the Goliath siege of Cinderak City, while they're both decimated, like the bridges are all destroyed around the gate so that it's not accessible anymore. Cinderak City is on fire and just burning as a burning wreck. But the assaults, both the Goliath attacks do technically fail.
Yes.
They are beaten back in both positions.
So this is where the game picks up, where the rules come into play, and where we take a break, and we'll talk about those when we get back. We are back.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I'll say that we talked about on the break, I'll circle back to kind of where I stand at the moment. Like you.
Oh yeah.
Because I think that ends this episode very nicely, as you guys will all hear it in a minute. Okay. So with most of these books, they also tend to come with like a campaign system, various rules changes, or upgrades, or what's interesting is you don't necessarily have to implement some of the rules changes into everything. It's like
options.
Specific to, hey, we're just the rules for just this thing or whatever. So it does kind of put that onus on you, Josh, as the guy who runs our campaigns for this. I really do want to do another weekender. That's the way to do it.
And we'll get into it. But I do like this campaign because it has underhive, it has
Ash Waste
and vehicles, but it also has
Zone Mortalis.
What's the zone? Not Zone Mortalis, the other one. Sector Mechanicus. So it's all three kind of terrain types, which gives you a good variety. And there's missions that are specific to those types.
There's like 12 missions in this.
There's a lot. Yeah.
Okay. So it's called the Succession campaign.
Yes.
And this is the Succession campaign part 1.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about what you summarized it well to me during the break.
Yeah. So this, similar to the Dominion campaign, which is kind of your starter book, like base default territory control, type of campaign. That's kind of your default Necromunda campaign. Mm-hmm. This is, not dissimilar to it, but it has a smart little kind of evolution of it in that it's using these things called sympathizers rather than actual like gang territories. Because our fight is so much larger now, we're talking about the entire planet. It's really it's Hive Primus focused still, but there are fights in Cinderak City. There are fights in other hives potentially out in the Ashways. Absolutely. Hive Primus. Absolutely. So rather than it being more like localized territory focus, it's expanding in this. And the idea of sympathizers these are groups that you are garnering like favor and support with so that you can lend your forces to a cause.
Representing kind of the political machinations that are taking place. You know, these sympathizers, as you said, are determined by like a deck of cards and a regular 52 card deck, except you strip some out. But basically you have like the Prometheum Guild sympathizers, the Water Guild sympathizers, House Ulanti sympathizers, House Korin sympathizers.
Those are all like noble houses. Yeah. Trying to
the Air Guild sympathizers, the Dregs of the Hive sympathizers, Heretic sympathizers, that kind of thing.
It covers the bases very well of who might have any kind of political interest in the outcome of the planet for leadership.
Right. And we'll get to how that gets actually implemented in a little bit, but it's very clever.
So the starting just difference of the campaign is pretty interesting in that you start with 2,000 credits. So it's twice the size of what most other campaigns start with. So you're going to have some goodies. Like you're going to have a ton of bodies. You're going to have some good equipment. Like you have a pretty well established gang for a starting gang in this.
And is that to represent like everybody's pulling out all the stops?
Yeah, it's kind of you've collected the best of what you have there at the start of the campaign, and then you're only going to grow from there.
Right.
What's interesting is the campaign is divided into 2 main phases with a downtime in between. The first phase is the Age of Darkness. So this is the Time of Darkness. This is when the power's out. So every fight that you do inside. So whether it's if it's a Zone Mortalis match or even a Sector Mechanicus potentially, if it's inside, you play with the pitch black rules. Like there is no power. So the only way you see somebody is if they shoot, and then like you see their muzzle flare and be like, oh, I'm shooting that guy. Which is real, just super fun and thematic. I love how they're bringing
they bring
story to the table.
3 phases, right?
Yeah. So the first phase is the time of darkness. So everything's in darkness. And what you're doing during this phase is you are fighting for sympathizers. So you're trying to gain sympathizers. So you'll the way the campaign works is there's challenges. So you'll issue like as the player, you issue a challenge to another player, like I want to fight for this sympathizer. And then whoever wins the battle will gain the support of that sympathizer.
Got it.
So in the first phase, you're just trying to amass as many of these sympathizers as you can. Like you're garnering that support for the next phase. So then after that phase is done, everybody gets one interesting thing of just a mechanical thing on the campaign is that you can't visit the trading post and you can't add more fighters
during this phase.
Like this blackout, like the hive is not functioning as it's supposed to. So that's why you get so many credits starting up front.
They talk in the story too about how like traders have like shut up all their doors and like everybody's afraid of the cultists.
They're all dealing with mutant uprisings and things like that. So like
so good.
So there is no black market to speak of for that first half, and that's the first phase of the campaign. Then there's the downtime where everybody gets promotions and captured guys come back, and if you want to do more downtime games, you can special events that Arbiter will usually run. But then you go into the next phase of the campaign.
Actually, in the downtime phase, you also declare your allegiance. It's at the bottom of that.
Okay, yeah. So declaring the allegiance, there's 3 options for declaring allegiance.
Right.
You can declare for House Helmwar, so you're fighting for the Imperial House, as is. You are trying to maintain independence, which is not declaring for either house. And then the third option is you are declaring for Lady Credo, signing up for the rebellion.
Right.
And there are perks and reasons why you might want to.
Yeah, they get different advantages based on. Now, let me ask you this, Josh. What if we're playing the campaign with 6 players?
Yep.
And 5 of those players are like, I'm going to go for Helmar.
That's fine.
Okay.
Because, and it's represented in the campaign that even if you're in the same gang, like gangs don't automatically align with the same gang. So like, as we see in the lore here, Escher is fighting against
there's
Escher.
Factions of Goliath.
Exactly. So we've got multiple gangs, but then just like bigger picture factions.
But I mean, what does that do to like your game if you're all trying to?
So the thing,
you're still maneuvering against.
It's still all infighting and maneuvering. So it doesn't really like one side isn't necessarily going to win over the other side. So even if it's 5-on-1 for that,
got it.
Those 5 allies, quote, are still vying for position,
just
and
like
power
we saw in the
within
narrative.
each other. Yeah.
Right.
So
okay, that makes a ton of sense.
So the way challenges work in the second half is that you'll issue a challenge, and you start from lowest gang rating to highest. So like whoever is the lowest gang, the underdog, if you will.
Yeah.
Issues a challenge, and now I'm like, okay, Carl, I'm going to play a game against you, and I'm going to say we're fighting for this sympathizer that you control. And now I'm trying to take your sympathizers away from you. So like the pot,
don't do that.
The pot is closed. Like the existing pot of sympathizers is closed down. So whatever happens, in phase
whoever
1,
has whatever,
that's what is available now. So in phase 2, you're trying to take sympathizers and support from other players, which is really neat.
That's so cool.
And so if I challenge you and I win, I take a sympathizer from you. If I challenge you and I lose, you get to keep the sympathizer. So now we're actually fighting, and each of these sympathizers at the end of each like phase in a campaign round, they give you benefits. There's boons to them. They give you money, so they give you more credits, and they'll give you special abilities. And then depending on your allegiance, you also get potential extra benefits, including some of the actual characters from the story can join your gang for a fight.
Right. And they are not wimps.
They are not wimps. Yeah.
So let me give you an example. If you, in this phase, at the beginning phase, you align with House Helmar. During the pre-battle sequence, roll a d6 on a 4 or more. The gang may recruit one of the following dramatis persona at no credit costs, ignoring any restrictions on who the dramatis persona will join. They will leave at the end of the battle regardless of other rules. So you can get the chemist mother, the one we talked about before, or Lady Hera, who's the 13th descendant. She's awesome. And you get deep pockets. When generating income from sympathizers, the gang adds an additional D6 times 10 credit to their stash. This is not too shabby all around.
Significant.
Meanwhile, on Lady Credo's Rebellion, Emissaries of the Rebellion, you do the same thing. You roll 4+. You can take Ethera and Styx, or Lady Credo, the Rebel Lord. And then you get Stars of Ascendancy. Each time the gang wins a battle, they gain 1 extra reputation in addition to any granted by the scenario. Both really great advantages, kind of opposed against each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And then there's some for the unaligned.
At some point, the campaign forces you to not be unaligned. You do have to pick a side at some point, but you can hold out as long as you can. But eventually, you are forced into one of the 2 silos.
Very nice. I love the concept of this.
Yeah,
like it's very clever. Every now and then they come out like this is kind of evolutionary.
Yeah.
Every now and then they come out with like a really great, like, oh, this is a good system.
Yeah.
And immediately I looked at this. I'm like, oh, how could you translate something like this into a 40K type system? It's great here. Like, I think we keep it here.
Super approachable, easy to translate.
Conceptually, it's very clever.
Yep. Just logistics wise, second phase of the campaign is the rebellion phase. You are able to visit the black market, so you can add more fighters, you can add more equipment to your gangs.
Spark of Rebellion phase.
Spark of Rebellion. You are getting lots of credits. All these sympathizer things give you pretty good payouts.
Yeah.
So I would say this compared to most other campaigns, you are getting lots of credits. So they want you to have some cool toys and lots of fighters.
Kill each other.
And you're going to have really fun and creative ways of murdering your friends.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That is pretty awesome.
And again, this has Zone Mortalis, it has Sector Mechanicus, it has Ash Waste. So your starting game, you get 400 credits worth of just vehicles for free.
Right.
So anytime you play a mission that is out in the Ash Waste, you get to bring those 400 extra points of vehicles.
Oh, you know, one thing.
Just add it to your gang.
Let's back up a minute.
Yeah.
Because one thing that we didn't mention during the storyline, and you'll know more about this because I was a little confused by it. I didn't realize, is they talk about Cal Jericho a little bit.
Yeah.
And how 10 guys show up at one point trying to pretend to be Cal Jericho, and they either kill them or drive them off or whatever. Like they show up because I'm Cal Jericho. Boom. You know?
No, you're not.
Is he a descendant of Helmar?
Yes. So he's not a direct legitimate descendant of Helmar. He's one of the illegitimate, but he's a very, he's famous. He's a bounty hunter, very well known.
I think it's Credo, I think, makes a deal with him to stay away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because knowing that he would just cause disruption to the whole thing. It's very interesting.
Just add an extra layer of chaos and calamity onto
it. I've read a book with Cal Jericho. I didn't enjoy it very much.
I know there's a couple. I think it's a Gav Thorpe novel that is Cal Jericho.
Oh yeah, I have the series over there on the shelf, but I really wanted to like it and I just couldn't get into it.
I haven't read it yet. But.
Yeah. Okay. So campaign kind of system, you've laid that out. You get access in the campaign we just talked about. You get access to several different types of characters just based on a role.
Yeah. Yeah. Depending on your allegiance.
Yeah. And then there's also characters you can hire. There's a few characters added here that you can hire.
Yeah.
There's like a Goliath, like bounty hunter guy, I think you can hire, and a few others.
Gorshiv is in there, so you can. Who's kind of the champion? He's a tyrant, not the over tyrant, but you can get Gorshiv if you're aligned later on in the Age of Rebellion phase.
Yeah,
I guess with Credo, not with the house.
Oh, you get Styx. The Styx Caryatid. It's an exotic beast. That's the one that Ethera has. Yeah. Okay, got it.
Yeah, yeah. They're a package deal.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I haven't seen what the model for that looks like.
I have not seen a model.
And then they also add Vespa Minx Merdana.
Yeah, she's an Orlock, and there is a model for her. She's got a one of the Orlock buggies, the Dune buggies, but just like a missile launcher mounted to it. I would say jumping into the scenarios. The scenarios are pretty fun in that they really reflect kind of some key moments of the story.
Yeah,
and that they're each phase of the campaign actually calls out which scenario makes sense. And this is very much like in line with the time. So you're more likely to be fighting in the underhive with the lights out in the first half of the campaign when we're in the time of darkness, or you're more likely to be fighting in the Ash Waste during the Age of Rebellion, outside later on. There's some nice little vignettes in the story that play out very, very nicely in scenarios. And even to the point where there are kind of to how the Imperial Armor books used to operate, where it's like, these are the forces that would be fighting in here. If you're not playing this as a campaign, but you just want to play these as one-off scenarios, but you want to kind of recreate the historical moment of that, it actually gives model suggestions and kind of equipment loadouts of how you would do that.
Yeah, I think probably the most relevant of that for me is the assassination mission.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's called Assassin in the Spire, and while you can play it out a specific way, and like one guy's the target and then this other character is the assassin, and you do that out, it's like, yeah, you can do that. But then it's like, and then in a kind of sidebar, it talks about strike at Lord Helmar. If players wish, they may use this scenario to represent the murder cyborg infiltrating the Spire in order to take out Lord Helmar. In order to do this, you make the following changes to the mission, and the defender has to use Palatine enforcers. The gang, they're using patrolmen as the sentries and creating reinforcements stack with the rest of the gang. And the attacker should use a profile of a gang leader with 100 credits of war gear and close combat weapons to represent the murder cyborg. And then there's other rules like certain things can't happen.
They can't be coup de grace. They like
they're like immune to coup de grace, and then
injuries count as flesh wounds,
and they have an assassinate, which is a double action. And if the assassin's in base contact with the target, they can perform the action. And if they're engaged with another fighter, the target dies and the assassin's mission is completed. So they're trying to get to that person. So basically, you're trying to get into base-to-base.
You get one model and you have one job.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Kind of cool.
Yeah.
I love that the missions are set. They call them narrative missions, so it speaks right to my heart. But I love that the missions are set. They're like, hey, we can play these out. And while we've emphasized Escher and Goliath in this, because the book does focus around Escher and Goliath for the most part, like this is played with
absolutely every. And in fact, it calls out every single gang is a valid and viable participant.
Yeah.
So including the Chaos Cult, the Gene Stealer cult.
what are they called? Is they called Gene Stealer cult?
Gene Stealer cult. Yeah.
I mean, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Like, it's funny because I tend not to think a lot about Necromunda in general. I mean, I have multiple gangs for it. We've played it multiple times. We've played campaigns. We've played short scenarios with it. I've enjoyed it every time I've played it.
Yeah, it's a blast.
But then I feel like I put it back on the shelf and we forget about it for a long time. And I think some of that, going back to the book real quick. So then there's various vehicle upgrades. There's various character upgrades that are added in here, new stuff, personal equipment, weapon accessories that are all added into the game.
This introduces the Escher cutters, which are kind of their like speeder bikes, and the Goliath maulers, which are their motorcycles, their chainsaw motorcycles. This was kind of one of the first expansions of the Ashways also. So more vehicles, more crews.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. I mean, look, the art in the book is fantastic.
Absolutely.
The quality of
production
the book
quality is phenomenal.
are great in the Necromunda series. Like it's in line with all the rest of it. But like I was saying, like I tend to kind of put it on the shelf and forget about it for a while. I wonder if that isn't because I don't feel like Necromunda is great as a one-off game. Like just you and I sit down and we play a game of Necromunda. Like I feel like
I think the skirmish experience is still really fun. It is an enjoyable,
without a doubt,
one-off game experience. But where it really comes into its own is the campaign play, which you need a bigger group, you need more time commitment to.
Yeah.
Which makes sense that it would be shelved in between, and then excitement's going to ramp up and modeling's going to ramp up while a campaign is approaching, and then you're going to really enjoy while it's being played. We just because of our busy adult schedules, like our campaign play kind of has to be consolidated into like a long weekend.
We've realized that that's kind of the way to go.
That's how we can actually complete it and not have it peter out and fail. But there's suggestion, and that's a big part of that for us is because we're geographically fairly separated. Like, we all live about an hour away from each other.
Yeah.
Which makes it harder just to get together on a weekly basis with adult lives and kids and
for sure
for everybody. But I think most people have a gaming club or a store that their group is meeting at, which makes it pretty easy for them to meet once a week. And that's really how the campaigns are designed to be played is you get together once a week, you play for 3 weeks. This is the first phase of the campaign's done. You take a week off for downtime. If people want to play, they play. Great.
Right.
And then you play 3 more weeks for the second phase of that. So it's really spread out over like a 7-week period.
That's their suggestion.
That's kind of the ideal. We have to consolidate that just with adult life.
We don't get to go quite as far into it, especially in a weekend.
Yeah.
But I did find when we played Mordheim and we did it over the 2 days.
Yep.
Even when I got like just blasted the first day, like I was able to come back the next day and go, okay, I'm going to play in some games. And I did much better at that point because I just had built my army.
Even did some overnight hobbying to get models ready.
And it took nothing, right? Exactly. It took like no time at all to I came out, okay, I'm going to come back. I got to paint 3 more models. Like boom.
You can paint 3 models. That's no problem. Yeah.
Especially with speed paints.
Yeah.
So having read this, I'm very interested in seeing kind of where the story goes.
Yes.
And this is what I alluded to at the beginning of the segment was like, let's come back to this. I haven't read the sequels yet. I own them.
Yeah.
They're over on my desk, the 2. I thought there were more. But I'm very interested in knowing what happens here.
Yeah, same.
And I have some hopes. For those who've already read ahead, you know, but I don't know. like, I kind of hope they don't bring Helmar back. Like they said he's in a stasis thing. I'm like, okay.
I think he's going to properly die.
I hope
fully
so.
die.
And whether it's,
I think Hera's pulling the plug.
And whether it's, whether it's his daughter or whether it's Lady Credo that take over, or neither of
else,
them. Yeah. I mean, it will be interesting to see the twists and turns of it and how it plays out. I play Goliath primarily, so I was glad I was represented in this book. And as I looked at it, I was like, okay, how long it is? And in looking at it, I'm like, I really need to get some bikes for those Goliath guys. I mean, it's interesting how a supplement like this, it's designed, it does what it's designed to do very well, which is it gets you interested in it. And then you're like, okay, what models do I have to buy?
And Ash Waste is a really fun way to play Necromunda. Like the addition of vehicles is great. And a big part of the reason I haven't yet run an Ash Waste campaign weekend for us is because not everybody has vehicles.
Right.
Not all gangs had them released yet. Like Delok just don't have a gang specific vehicle.
Right.
And at this rate, I don't think they're going to get one, but every other gang does. So I think we're in a great time if everybody picks up
a couple vehicles,
400 points worth of vehicles.
Or if they don't, they can just play the indoor missions in this game.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Like if somebody were in a state where they're like, I can't really go out and buy the vehicles right now. Cool. Let's just,
when you fight those missions, you have, there's one mission that has rolling roads, which is like you actually move the terrain,
right?
Which you do need vehicles in order to keep up the speed of it. So that's the only mission out of like the 12 that are in the book that it requires vehicles. You can absolutely play in the Ash Waste without vehicles. You might have a slight disadvantage for it, but
I'm not about to run out and, what I'm about to say next, I'm not about to run out and do it. I have a lot of unassembled Necromunda terrain.
Oh yeah.
I have stuff that I got from Doug as well. So like I have tons of this stuff in addition to the Zone Mortalis table stuff I have, right?
Yeah.
So like I have all that. I don't have any of the outdoor terrain, the Ash Waste terrain stuff. And you do.
I've got a full table's worth.
And as I look at it, like
probably 2 tables worth.
It's not cheap.
Yeah.
Like that stuff is not cheap to buy, especially like the huts and all that stuff. Yeah. Like I missed out on purchasing it when they came out with the
starter box. Was a pretty good deal.
Yeah. Yeah. But buying it on its own, pretty pricey.
Yeah.
That being said, there's probably kits out there designed for Star Wars or inspired by this that are 3D printable.
You can 3D print a bunch of stuff for this too. Yeah.
I've become a big fan of 3D printing terrain.
Yeah.
In general. Like we saw during our Mordheim campaign.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people were printing out stuff and I have tons of terrain for Mordheim now, which is great because it can double for D&D.
You can use it for so many things. Yeah.
Not that I ever play D&D in person anymore. I would love
Which is unfortunate. Yeah.
I would love to. But yeah, I mean, it's a little on the pricey side to delve into Ash Waste stuff. You said you have a whole table of it, so that's perfect. But like even the like ridge haulers, like the cargo weight ridge haulers.
Oh yeah, they're spendy.
$106.
Yeah.
Like,
oof. There's been a couple price increases since they were released also.
The Thanos pattern hab module runs for $82. That's just one.
That's the big one.
That's the big one that's on the stand. I mean, I do have, like, I play Ash Waste Nomads as well, and I have some of the Dustback Helmites, the
Helamites, the fleas.
Yeah.
The sand fleas.
But man, I really do like Necromunda.
Yeah.
I know that Adon is not the biggest fan of it. I think he kind of misses out there. The fortified hab module is $114. I mean, that's pretty spendy as well. I mean, to get a whole table of those hab modules is
I've got and I've seen a lot of people who use smart integrations of like pink foam.
Sure,
you carve out
to get more for your buck,
so that you have a hab module on like with one side and then another, but then there's actually like a removable top, a tunnel for interior fighting you can do within Ash Waste games and things like that.
Right.
But even just the desert terrain that you have is completely functional.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it doesn't have to be this.
You don't have to get
it's my point.
It's a cool aesthetic. Like I have them all because I like the aesthetic and was able to get good deals on them at HerrickGames.com.
Lady Hera is a cool model.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
That is a cool model. $47, but her armor's neat looking.
Yeah.
Holy
It's such a noble aesthetic to it.
Yeah.
Should definitely.
These models are pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right. What do we got to do? I got to get some bikes for my Goliath guys.
Get some bikes. I got enforcers. I already have the Tauros Venator. I cannot talk today. Their enforcer buggy, which is super fun as I got to play with it in the
Have you looked at
Westromunda games?
And we're kind of leaping ahead here, but have you looked at the second and third book and seen their campaign systems?
So I have, I got both those books because they had rules for enforcer units that I needed for Westromunda. So I did pick up those books. I have not looked at the campaigns yet, but one thing I will say is that this book specifically calls out that you can, upon conclusion of this campaign, you can run with it right into the next campaign series. It is meant to continue. So if you have a gang that you're really happy with and everybody wants to, you can just roll on into the next campaign and keep it going, or you can start fresh again. So there are options for that. I haven't looked into it in specific detail yet, but definitely will before the coverage of the next book.
What's interesting, looking online, the Spire of Primus, which is the Aranthian Succession book, Spire Primus. Is that the third one?
I don't know that one.
See, this might be the fourth one.
There might be a fourth.
I swear, I think there's 5. Dude. Available while stocks last. Is what it says. I've not noticed that tag on GW site. I might need to order it.
So for this because between Titanicus and Necromunda, my library is overflowing bookshelves now.
I'm telling you, I'm in the same boat.
I've started buying them for tablets. Just so I can store them all in one spot. Because
I mean,
the shelf space I'm just running out of because I play so many specialist games.
Well, not just that. I mean, look, I have like all the original black books for Horus Heresy.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Those take up a huge amount of space. You look at that shelf up there; it's all Necromunda and Adeptus Titanicus stuff. It's just like, it's interesting. What's very interesting about Necromunda, and we've talked about this before, is like, you can go, oh, well, it's cheap because you just have to buy a gang. It's never just a gang. And it does add up.
Yeah.
It does add up over time, especially if you want to participate in this. Now, that being said, not everybody has to run out and buy this book.
No, yeah.
It certainly makes referencing things easier, as we found in other games where you're like, oh, you're the only one with the copy, and we had to go back to the same person.
If you're printing out like the scenarios or something, you could definitely
copy the scenario and just so everybody has it.
That's useful for the group.
Maybe even like the upgrade sheet, so people see, oh, here are the stats that I can upgrade to.
Yeah.
But
it's definitely not an everybody who wants to play in this campaign needs the book, but having more than one copy is probably beneficial to the group.
I would agree.
You want to,
I'd agree.
Have more downtime of looking stuff up potentially for Dramatis Personae and things like that. But
so I mean,
you could print out a lot of stuff.
So anyway, the bottom line, Cinderak Burning. We used to do like the AP and strength.
Yeah.
We don't do that anymore. That was too. I think that was way overcomplicated for a scoring system.
Do you like it?
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it a lot. My one criticism was the ability to digest the way the story was written out. But really, that's my issue. Like, I think when I got it, like, it's a good story.
Yeah.
And the like I said, the interspersed kind of narrative stories they deliver, I thought were quite good.
Yeah.
The campaign system sounds super great. Yeah. Like super clever.
Easy. It's low.
It's easier than it even.
Yeah.
This is my other issue.
It's a low lift
with both Necromunda and Adeptus Titanicus. They sound complicated on paper. Like when you read it, you're like, oh, this seems kind of complicated. But in actuality, it's very straightforward. Yeah. Titanicus was the worst of it, I think. Like, and I think that's mostly because of the control boards, right? But yeah, I mean, 2 read-throughs of the campaign, I was like, okay, I get it.
Yep.
And it's organized very well.
Yeah, absolutely.
To explain that. So it's a great book. It's a great book. And I like the fact that it modernizes Necromunda a bit. I'm very curious to see where it ends up.
Yeah, page 1 is Cicatrix Malediction opens up. Like, let's go. We're catching up on the timeline.
So it's good stuff. Yeah. It's good stuff. If you're a Necromunda player, you probably already have it. By this point, it's been out for a while. If you don't have it, get a hold of it because it sounds like
if it sounds like something your group would be interested in, definitely worth picking up.
Yeah. All right. With that, we're going to take a break and then we'll come back and we'll close out the show. All right, we're back to close out the show. Okay, couple points of clarification. There are 4 books that we have identified in the Aranthian Succession. Cinderak Burning, The Vaults of Temenos, Ruins of Jardlin, and the Spire one.
Spire of Primus is the 4th book.
Spire of Primus, the 4th book.
I have not acquired yet, which is why
I have the other 3.
Not familiar.
As it turns out,
the first 3.
As it turns out, I bought Cinderak Burning twice, not realizing I already had it. I purchased it again. So I have in my possession a brand new copy of Cinderak Burning out of shrink wrap, but brand new. I just opened it for the first time to show Josh that I am willing to give away on this show. If you leave us a voicemail, you can do it from the independentcharacters.com website. No ain't independent. Telling us what is your favorite house, gang, and why you need this book.
Why would your game group benefit from it?
I like that. Why would your game group benefit from this book? We will, so leave us a voicemail. You got 2 minutes to tell us those 2 things. And then we'll pick a winner from the people who leave a voicemail that we also feel inspired by. And we will send this book out to you. We will pay at most $20 shipping. So if you are overseas, we'll cover $20 of that, and then you can cover the rest. But I think that's
at least media mail is a little more.
It was so funny. I walked over to the shelf because we're like, okay, how many are there? And I go, well, I think I have 2 of them. And I go, no, I have 3. And I have 2 copies of this same book.
You do have 4, but
I do have 4, just the wrong one. So let's give it away to somebody who wants it.
Absolutely.
And we'll use it.
That's a great cause.
Yeah, I like it. Okay. That being said, Josh, next episode, Adon will be back. So you can probably count on us not covering Necromunda at that point. I don't know. He'll probably want to cover Spearhead or something.
Just totally different universe.
Yeah. So Adon will probably be back next episode. I'm sure we can get the timing to line up. He is back on the regular. So just happened to not be available.
He's actually moved or almost done moving up to this area
I think
again.
He's pretty much done.
Yeah. So.
Let's see. As always, leave us reviews on your app of choice that you download the podcast from. If you're watching it on YouTube, make a comment in the section. Let us know what you thought of it. And you can join our Facebook group, which is still active and very supportive. We're still adding new members to that. And we have a Patreon. You can also join our Discord.
Yeah.
So there's all kinds of ways to get in touch with us.
Probably the most active right now.
The one thing I will say is if you're interested in joining the Facebook group, make sure you answer the questions. If there's no answer to questions, I immediately decline it.
Yeah.
And the problem is if you invite a friend to join it, they don't get proposed the questions. It just like invites the person. And so I decline it right away. So if you have a friend that you think maybe want to join the Facebook group, have them just come in and ask to join the Facebook group. We respond pretty quickly, within a couple hours usually, and allow somebody into the Facebook group. So with that said, you got anything else you want to cover? I'm glad you're back.
Yeah. It's good. Good to be back. Good to hang out again.
We got to play some 40K.
We'll have to play some games. Just off the top of my head, reminder, the Hobby Progress Challenge is still underway. So it's never too late to join.
I pulled from an old template. That's why I should add that to this template.
Paint our show stuff, get some points, get some entries into drawings.
Yeah. So the Hobby Progress Challenge is going very well. We're coming into, I wouldn't say the final stretch, but I think we're over the main hill.
Where did it start?
I think
September.
maybe we're not over the hill yet.
No.
Okay, but
I think we're a third.
Like originally, like the original Hobby Progress Challenge was we're going to complete it before Adepticon, and we would go to Adepticon with our new armies, and we did. Then the timing has gone off since then. I'm still working on prize support for that. I'm sure we can count on many of the usual customers to provide prize support. They've been very supportive in the past of the show.
It's such a good cause.
The other thing I would say is, speaking of good causes, Table War Charities, we have a full Adeptus Titanicus army painted by the great Austin Lynn.
Yeah.
Who
I was admiring that at the break.
Yeah, it's sitting over here on my coffee table along with the set it came with. That will go to Table War Charities for bidding at Adepticon. So
fantastic.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. So yeah, it's a great set. You'll see pictures of that soon at Table War Charities, and we'll certainly promote it here. But anticipate that it will be up for bidding. Or I don't want to say bidding. It's a lucky draw. A lucky draw. So you'll buy tickets, and then those tickets will go into a drawing, and there'll be a bunch of different prizes that they'll have. So good stuff. If you're going to Adepticon, we hope to see you there.
Yeah,
We're going to
can't wait.
Be involved in you know the 40K Flex. Other than that, I'm kind of just shopping and hanging out with friends, and probably participating in the Space Hulk thing. And that's it.
I have a much lighter schedule this year than last year. I definitely overbooked.
Well, you're helping with
I had a great time. Yeah.
the Flex this time.
And I'm excited to, that
you and Aaron are
chat
helping.
to some listeners, play some 40K, maybe be a pickup game, or
That's what I plan
play
on
a
doing.
couple pickup games. But if we need a ringer or something there too,
Yeah, that's what I plan on doing.
Have an army ready
during
to go.
during the Flex is there's generally, we have a dropout here or there, so we need a ringer, or we have a couple open tables if somebody wants to play one of our crew wants to play a pickup game.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm hoping to get a couple games in there, and
Maybe you'll even get a game with Celebrity Campbell.
yeah, that would
We
are overdue. The last game we played was Necromunda.
Of the 40K Badcast.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. I don't want to play him again. He always kicks my butt at 40K. I'm gonna get him eventually.
We're playing different games.
I'll get you next time, Gadget.
Yeah.
All right. So until next time, this is Carl.
This is Josh.
And we're coming to you from the Astronomicon, where my Goliath are throwing in against House Helmar, mostly because we're tired of trying to pronounce that last name.
Out with him. And as the old Goliath proverb says, glorious, like a well-clenched fist ready for punching.
All right. We'll catch you next time. This episode of The Independent Characters is protected by the Creative Commons license. If you have further questions as to its use, you can find information on the front page at theindependentcharacters.com.